Hello, my name is Voya and welcome to My Deep Guide and a very special and exciting episode. After 4 long years, Remarkable is finally coming out with a brand new product called the Remarkable Paper Pro. That in itself is really exciting news, but I actually have a little bit of something extra special for you guys because a few days ago I got out of the blue an unexpected invitation email from Remarkable to come and visit them at their Oslo headquarters. So yep, I've had the opportunity to have hands-on experience and hands-on testing with the Remarkable Paper Pro, and yes, the review sample unit will arrive soon, maybe during this week or something like that, but they promised that it's definitely on the way. So the unboxing and the in-depth reviews are definitely going to be available on My Deep Guide. But before all that, here is a sneak preview with some hands-on footage of the Remarkable Paper Pro. Out of the blue, completely unexpected, I get an email from the Remarkable saying, hey, we have some exciting news. Are you able to come down to our Oslo headquarters office to have a little meeting? And after stress of rain and traffic and all that kind of stuff, I finally get there and enter the calmness and warmth of wood everywhere in the Remarkable's headquarters office. I was greeted and led to a meeting office where on a table there was a slew of devices and covers and basically the entire new ecosystem that is the Remarkable Paper Pro, because they're not just launching a device, they're launching the whole range of stuff that goes along with it to actually support a launch of an important device like this. It was actually very refreshing to be in a meeting with the people behind the Remarkable paper tablet, the services, and now the Paper Pro. And something that was actually quite new for me was the air from the get-go, was the air of transparency, openness, and honesty. Of course, there's a demo and a presentation, but a natural type of conversation evolved and opened because of that transparency, openness, and honesty. So a decent portion of the conversations that we've had are off the record, and absolutely I'm going to be respecting that, but I'm absolutely fine with that because that allowed the opportunity to basically get to know the mentality of the people behind the direction of the Remarkable. And that direction to me seemed quite fresh, especially when compared to the previous interactions that I've had with Remarkable in the past. I'm not saying that they were not pleasant, but it was different. Another thing that was quite impressive for me was that despite them obviously being tired and probably under unimaginable amount of anxiety, excitement, and stress that follows a hard launch of a huge new product that has been in painstaking production and development for, 4 years or something like that, they still allotted time, patience, goodwill, and openness to be able to have a natural flowing conversation about the product and not just go like, oh, here's the product, here are bullet points and key points and bye-bye. No, it was actually not like that at all. It was totally open and free-flowing, which was very nice to see. So that's the context of the meeting that took place, but now let's focus at the star at hand, which is the Remarkable Paper Pro. If you just read on the paper, it's bumped up specs of the SoC. It's an 11.8 inch screen that is color screen, and it's gallery tree custom stack screen. What does that mean? It doesn't mean much to the average viewer, but an average viewer may remember like, oh no, gallery tree screen, that didn't perform that well. And it has a front light. And a traditional Remarkable user at this point may go like, but there's a lot more behind all of this. And I do invite you to actually stick out through the end of the video because there's so much more than meets the eye in what this team has actually managed to develop and achieve in the form of the Remarkable Paper Pro. So Let's start with the design and the build quality. The design of the device is beautiful, as one would expect, and it is still minimalistic, but still very, very beautiful. It does take a little bit of a departure from what we've seen on Remarkable 2, because it no longer has that spine on the side. It has more a symmetrical look with just an extended bottom on the side. And it also has a aluminum alloy unibody of the whole device. It has a much better screen to body ratio, which means that the device footprint, or the area of the actual device, grew way less when compared to how much the screen area grew when you compare that to the Remarkable 2. What surprised me was that every aspect of the design is purposeful, well thought out, and basically executed to the absolute highest quality levels that I have encountered thus far. The unibody aluminum alloy that I've mentioned on the sides actually has filleted ridges, which immediately basically show why they are there from the first touch, because what they enable is a confident and comfortable grip at the device. I was also told that the transition to the unibody design, or the bucket type design, is there because they are just doing a smarter approach amongst many other things. All of those changes do allow an easier and cheaper repairability. No, it's not user repairable, but a trained repairs personnel will be able to perform repairs in a much more efficient and cost-effective way. In the back, we have 4 anti-slip rubber feet. I think that they provide a very stable support for the device. From what I could see, the device would not bend, flex, or slide anywhere. Plus, it looks really beautiful. The price, I believe they said, is going to be $499 for the device alone. Prices of the accessories are going to be quite high, so the total will amount to quite a bit, but the price of the device itself is, I believe they said, $499. So there are quite a few things to focus on Remarkable Paper Pro, but I think that the most important one to focus on from the get-go is that screen. So the screen is called Color Canvas Display. It is not just a gallery tree display, it's a custom stacked gallery tree display with a lot of other off-the-record stuff that basically means that you're not going to be able to see or have a screen like that perform in any other device, or work like that in any other device. That being said, it is an 11.8-inch custom stacked gallery tree technology based display, and that means that unlike the dead-end technology that I kept talking about, that Kaleido is a dead-end technology, it doesn't have a color matrix stencil painted on top of black and white display, thus worsening the brightness of the image, the contrast of the image, and the resolution of the image, and the fuzziness and all of that stuff. Like, so many negative aspects. Nope. This is actually a true color display. And what does that mean? Well, that means that it has 4 different color e-ink particles in each chamber. So each chamber consists out of cyan, yellow, magenta, and white ink cells. They're then moved up and down and to different layers, and they can be combined to produce different colors. A display like that can therefore produce 4 primary colors and 4 secondary colors by combining different e-ink cells. So the primary colors will be white, cyan, magenta, and yellow. The secondary colors are a combination, a full-on combination of 2 or more cells, and those would be black, red, green, and blue. And this basically mimics what a printing standard does, because the printing standard is relying on SMIC standard, not on RGB standard, and that allows for color dithering and color combination in order to achieve other different colors and shades of colors. And that's exactly what you get on the color canvas display. So the color dithering of the color canvas display allows this technology to display up to 20,000 colors, which is not something that alternative e-ink technologies can achieve at this point in time. And the miraculousness of the dedication and madness, sheer madness of basically what they decided to go, I can't even begin to grasp the levels of stubbornness that were needed, and intelligence and dedication to basically get to the point where they have gotten with the starting point that was gallery tree. And as if this was not enough, they actually added a front light as well into the Remarkable Paper Pro, but you know, it's a custom stack, so it's a custom front light, so it can't be really ordinary, right? Because even though it does have a front light that's added, it's a single light front light. We'll talk a little bit about that later, but this is the impressive part, for me at least. The surface to screen distance on the Remarkable Paper Pro is a smidge less than it was on the Remarkable 2, despite it having that added layer of a custom front light. That's pretty impressive. Now, as far that single color light, well, here as well, they weren't really thinking about, oh, we're just gonna have a cold light or a warm light, which is traditionally what we get. Nope, they went the other route. And to me, I think that's a proper route. Not everyone will agree, and that's fine. And this is like a non-apologetic route. And everything about the Remarkable Paper Pro is non-apologetic, and it's unashamed. And that is something that I really, really like about it. So the whole point of the color is that it's carefully calibrated, both intensity and the color hue, so that it works the best way that they deemed fit with the colors that the display is capable of producing. So basically, it's a custom front light for their custom stack for the gallery tree display, because they configured it in such a way and they drive it in such a way that they get full control over the end result that is displayed to the user. From what I have seen and tested, the front light works really well, and it simply illuminates the content of it. It doesn't colorize it, and I think that they managed to achieve that in a really good way. Granted, it was not a full-on controlled session for testing the front light, but that little test that I managed to do seemed to be quite on par with what they told me their goal was with that front light. Next, we need to focus on one of the strongest points of the Remarkable family of devices, so from Remarkable 1, Remarkable 2, and now Remarkable Paper Pro. That would be the focus with the name as well, paper-like writing experience. This is one of the strongest focuses of the device, and here as well, Remarkable Paper Pro does not disappoint. And again, every aspect of this device is basically custom tailored. There's nothing that I've seen that we've touched upon in a conversation that was just like ordinary. And that reflects to the glass as well, because other producers and other devices, when they want to have a paper-like screen surface, they have two options, and they usually either apply a paper-like screen protector right out of the box in the factory, so it's all nice and dandy, or they laminate a surface on top, and then it just looks like a laminated surface on top of glass. No, not good enough for Remarkable Paper Pro, apparently, because the glass itself is structured glass. So it is the glass itself that has that paper-like roughness structure, giving you the best thinness and contact with the surface, but also the best reflectivity and all of these things. And you can really feel that when you start actually using it. But that's not all, because the pen and the whole pen approach has been completely redesigned from scratch. What does that mean? Well, more in the next section, because I'm gonna have a separate chapter for the pen itself, but let's just put that as a very big and important part of the new and improved writing experience that the Remarkable Paper Pro brings to the table. The next element that also takes advantage of all of this hard work and effort that went into making the screen, the color canvas display, and the paper-like writing experience, and they've basically added stackable brushes, color stackable brushes, in addition to the regular brushes. What does that mean? Well, with regular brushes, when you paint with them, and you paint with one on top of the other, they're an overwriting on top. There's no transparency whatsoever. However, you have the highlighter and a new brush called the shader, which take advantage of the dithering process. And the dithering process is basically, you can think of it as transparency. Technically, it's not transparency, it's dithering. It's a proper kind of thing, because that dithering allows you to actually perceive those up to 20,000 colors. And what is absolutely amazing with the shader, especially with the shader brush, is that for anyone who has any kind of experience with color mixing, that's what you're able to get on the Remarkable Paper Pro. Because when you start actually playing around and brushing with, I don't know, magenta, and then with the red, and then with this, and then add a little bit of yellow, add a little bit of green, and you're starting to get a lime color. And then you can dose it any way you want. And then that opens up a brand new avenue of painting and drawing on an e-ink device that absolutely no other device on the market currently can offer. They also had to resolve like everything about this device in order to be at the stage where it is, was a set of challenges and problems that they had to overcome through intelligent solutions and hard choices. And one of the choices that they've made is really, really good and daring, and that's why I characterize Remarkable Paper Pro as unapologetic and unashamed, and I really like that approach. And what do I mean with that? Well, if you remember with Big Me Galley, whatever it was called, it was a test device that Big Me tried with the Gallery 3 display, and it was dreadful, it was horrific. And basically one of the problems that the technology itself had was that the technology itself in the Gallery 3 is not able to give the user or give the developer consistent speed for different ink particles. How do you go about that? And that's definitely not good enough for the people at the Remarkable team, so they had to employ an intelligent solution which basically gives you a really, really good and faithful preview of your strokes as you're drawing them, but it gives them at a consistent speed regardless of which color you're using. Then when you lift off, it actually post-renders it into a beautiful, consistent type of representation of what you just drew or painted. So that means that that approach allowed them to have a device bypass the limitation of the technology and deliver to the users consistent speed strokes regardless of the color that is being used, and consistent color display once the post-rendering is finished. So now let's talk about the new pen. Well, right out of the bat, it is an active pen, but again, in a smart way. The device does not have an EMR Wacom layer, so Wacom EMR pens will not be able to work with the Remarkable Paper Pro, and the Remarkable Paper Pro Active Pen will not work with the Remarkable 2, for example, because it's not an EMR pen. They told me that they really, really wanted and wished to go the active pen route because that opens up a lot of things that the EMR pen cannot really give them. But I hear you ask, didn't you say that active pens are always kind of trash? Well, off the shelf, active pens, active pen drivers, active pen technology, it is garbage. But as we've seen so far, Remarkable team in their stubbornness, intelligence, madness, and dedication, and all of that kind of stuff, they decided to create their own thing, all of it, from scratch, so that it is exactly up to the specifications and performance that they want for their own device. And there's a huge advantage when you are able to actually go that route and create a dedicated device with dedicated everything supporting it for your specific device. Well, then you are able to get something that competition can't do and definitely can't get off the shelf. So what does that mean? Well, it means that the active pen, of course, it's wirelessly powered by, when you snap it to the device, it's wirelessly powered, and it's powered by the battery from the device. They have a brand new design for the nib, so it's no longer using standardized nibs, and it's a totally different material, totally different size, everything about it is completely different. And it's not the only thing, but the nib mechanism holder is also in a mechanical and software way basically acting as a dampener for the pressure when you're writing, to give you an even better and more authentic paper-like writing, so that you don't feel the hardness of the surface that you're writing on, and it actually dynamically reacts to the dynamics of your writing style, which is basically super awesome. They say that their latency is super fast, and I can't really exactly remember if they said that it was 18 or 12 milliseconds, but either way, that remains to be measured out. But it is also drastically faster, and I can attest to what I saw and experienced when I was using it. It felt basically instantaneous. The reaction of the screen and the device with the pen feels basically instantaneous. When you put all of that together, what you get is an absolutely incredible writing feel, precision, sound, and comfort. The pen also comes in standard and in the premium marker, or I don't know, supreme marker, supreme, that has an eraser, and the standard one doesn't have an eraser. None of them have a button, so nope, the button is not there. It's just eraser, non-eraser. And I think that the pricing remains same, if I'm not mistaken, 79 for the regular and 129 for the marker supreme kind of thing. But both markers employ the same technology, so the only difference is basically that eraser. The device internals has also been upgraded, and now it has a quad-core 1.8 gigahertz SoC with, I believe, 2 gigabytes of RAM, 64 gigabytes of storage. So finally, a remarkable tablet has a lot of storage room, which is really good to see, because that was one of the Achilles heel of the Remarkable 2, because it had just very limited storage space. No more the case with the Remarkable Paper Pro. It has a 5,000 something milliamp battery as well, to provide tons of power for all of this technology. But I believe that it's still going to be like a similar-ish type of battery life with the Remarkable 2, because I think that with all of the stuff that's actually happening underneath and all of the hard work that the device actually has to do, it has to consume more power. So yeah, it has a much larger battery, but I think it's going to probably amount to roughly a similar type of battery life as the Remarkable 2. The performance itself is, from the first touch, I was really impressed, because they just put like one of the devices in front of me, and then Mats was telling me about the journey of the project itself and of the device, how they gotten there, and it's like open there, and I'm listening to that, but I had to like kind of tap the menu, and immediately you get to see like, okay, this is a 4-year newer, refreshed device, because the reaction to menus, gestures, and everything, it's super fast and way more responsive than what we've had on Remarkable 2. And that kind of thing seems to be translating across most of the system actions. The page flipping thing, but that is more in relation to the color canvas display itself, how it's being solved, and I think it's an intelligent way of doing it. But yeah, most of the stuff that I've seen, the performance is really upgraded on the Remarkable Paper Pro. But it's not just about the performance, because I think, again, the accent here has to be on the intelligence of the design and just meticulousness of the design in every respect. Because Again, I'm going to talk about the Big Me Galley device because it's the only other device that dared to use the gallery tree panel. And there we had a big problem with ghosting, and every color display so far, even every Kaleido display, is like, you know that ghosting is terrible on them. And you know, Books is using BSR to kind of refresh that and combat that problem. Remarkable is doing something else. I can't tell you exactly. I know what they are doing. They told me, but that's off the record. But it's absolutely freaking awesome. And for a nerd like me, I just nerded and geeked out completely. But what I can show you is the end result of the awesomeness that they've decided to kind of implement in the Remarkable Paper Pro, and that is that the device is basically intelligent and it understands which area of the screen has been changed, and then it selectively deghosts and fixes just the areas of the screen that have changed. And that has a really, really profound impact, that it feels, yes, when you change stuff is kind of dynamically changing on the screen, but very, very quickly it just kind of whoosh, and it's like, okay, I'm good. And then you flip to another page and it's like, okay, we're ready. And the result is that I haven't seen a single example of traditional ghosting remnants on a Remarkable Paper Pro, no matter what we've tested, like pages of text, drawings, colors, black and white, doesn't matter. Yes, it has that reorganization and re-cleaning and deghosting basically across different areas of the screen in a very intelligent way, and that it might be unusual for some users, but for me, it was unusual for me to see it first as well. I reacted to it internally, but after like 10 minutes, I actually stopped reacting to it and I started to kind of love, in a geeky way, I really, really loved seeing what the device is doing, and such an advanced level of intelligent implementation of how to bypass a traditional problem in a device like this. Yeah, for my geeky nature, it was something that was quite nice to see. But this is one aspect that I think won't be for everyone, and some users are probably going to react to that and may not want that, and that's something that you have to be kind of aware of. Yeah, it will be, some people won't care about it, some people will, and that's fine. And the intelligence of the system itself doesn't end there, because they've also added a smart content rendering kind of automatic filter kind of thing, which means that the Remarkable is now equipped with understanding what type of content is dominant on the page, and you can choose if you want to use the smart filter at all, on or off, or set it to automatic. And when you set it to automatic, the tablet will understand, hey, the dynamic or the dominant content on this page, or this what you're doing, resembles images, therefore I'm going to use this type of contrast setting, and if it detects that it's actually mostly text, then it's going to do a different kind of setting. And that actually worked quite well. And what I like about this approach is that, yeah, Remarkable is getting smarter. So it's still distraction free, but it's starting to have this different approach where underneath all of the simplicity, like really deep under, it's trying to work hard to do the work for you and take the load off users' mind, which is a very nice thing to see if it's done correctly. And as I mentioned at the beginning, it's not just the device, it's a new pen and it's new folios, so it's the new whole ecosystem. So let's start with the regular folios. They are completely redesigned, they come in both leather and recycled plastic materials, and the recycled plastic materials are using recycled plastic from the bottles, and they look amazing and awesome. And for me, that's such a cool thing to be able to produce something so beautiful, so precise, and be environmentally conscious. That's a very nice thing to see. I think that the new design is absolutely beautiful, and again, the execution is top notch. What I was particularly blown away is, again, the extreme thoughtfulness of the design and meticulousness of attention to detail, which translates to every tiny little detail. So They have listened that some people would lose their markers because of the magnetic thing in their bags. So you need a flap to hold the pen in place. But what do you do with that flap when it goes back? Well, in the case of the Remarkable Paper Pro folios, it has an indentation where the flap neatly goes away, and when it's not being used, it's out of the way, tucked out of the way, you don't even see it, you don't feel it, it's perfectly flat, allows the device to be perfectly flat on the surface, and then when you need it, you just simply use it and magically it's there and it does its job really well. Pricing for the folios, I believe that the pricing range is from $89 to $139. I may be off by $10 here or there, but that is roughly the range between the recycled plastic and the leather folios. And I think that they mentioned that they will have also fabric folios, but I haven't had a chance to actually see that. But I think that they mentioned that, and that one might be $79. Don't hold me for that, but I think that those are the three variants of the regular folio that you will be able to choose from. Then we have the Type Folio as well, which has been redesigned and made for the Remarkable Paper Pro as well. And that one has, of course, that new improved flap design for holding the pen, which folds out of the way and is not obtrusive. Has improved opening and closing. I believe that they've improved the bulkiness and the weight of it as well. It just feels less heavy, drastically less heavy, at least to me. It felt like that when I was testing it. It didn't add so much bulkiness like the original folio did for the Remarkable. Then you also have, because it's an 11.8-inch device, that allows for a wider footprint of the keyboard itself, which automatically means that the angles and the comfort level of typing is much better than what we had on the Remarkable Type Folio for the Remarkable 2. There are also improvements in the key typing as well, because it really does feel a little bit better. It's not clacky at all, it feels high class, and it even sounds better. And the bigger footprint area also means that there's a small dedicated area for the palm rest, and the material is very nice, very comfortable, and the roundness of the edges is really nice as well. And we're not done yet, because the Type Folio for the Remarkable Paper Pro has illuminated keys as well. Of course it does. And it has also some dedicated functionality keys that give you some other menus, but more on that when I receive the device, and then I can go in depth. The price for this goodness is kind of eye-watering at $229 US. So yeah, Type Folio got really improved, but so did the price, because ouch, that's really quite expensive. And apart from the whole new product line launching, they're also basically thinking about their whole ecosystem, and their goal is to slowly get and merge into this being a productivity tool that is able to seamlessly slot into your everyday productivity life, and offer this ecosystem that makes it really easy for you to basically jump to the Remarkable ecosystem and back, and dynamically do that from wherever it is that you may be coming from a browser, from an email, from a meeting, or to a meeting, or things like that. So that is their goal, and that is what I understood, at least from things that they were telling me about the ecosystem and yeah, some of the decisions they're going for. Basically that type of integration, that you can still have this dedicated, distraction-free system environment, and it remains focused on the distraction-free mentality, but they are also adding a level of intelligence to the device, to the system and everything, so that the entire ecosystem becomes a little bit more intelligent, I guess. And I think that this is a very welcome change in the mentality of how do you look at this goal, which is distraction-free? So previously it was the absolute brutal minimalism, but right now we're starting to maybe see a shift in understanding of what distraction-free really means in 2024, right? So that, I think, is a welcome thing to see. How it's going to be implemented and how it's going to work in reality, that of course remains to be seen. But as an idea, it's a welcome idea as far as I'm concerned. So now we come to my impressions of the Remarkable Paper Pro. I'm going to try and summarize it into as short as I can. So overall, I think that the device feels and performs really well, and a lot of aspects of it are truly, truly impressive. The physical part of the design and execution of the Remarkable Paper Pro is basically some of the highest, if not the highest level on the market today and of any device that I have actually seen. And that makes sense. If you're going to make something that's going to be impossible to change afterwards, it makes sense that you try and make it as good as possible, and then you try to envision every possibility that you can, and you put in, you implement all of the lessons that you've learned from your previous devices and interactions and experiences, right? And that's what Remarkable Paper Pro actually feels like. It's not chasing like the thinnest or this or that. No, it's not doing any of that. It's doing its own thing 110%, and that is something that I absolutely love to see. What really surprised me is that I also can see a huge, vast myriad of extremely sophisticated solutions to very complicated problems that are basically exemplified in what Remarkable Paper Pro is as a device. But I can confidently say that I sincerely doubt that any other manufacturer, company, or team will be able to achieve with the Gallery 3 technology what the Remarkable team has managed to achieve in the Remarkable Paper Pro, and I don't expect that to be matched. If I were to summarize the Remarkable Paper Pro, to me, the first impression of what I had to see there and hear about the device, I think that the Remarkable Paper Pro represents a gigantic leap of daring, risk-taking, close to madness level of originality. The amount of dedication, problem-solving, and sheer brute force intelligence that was needed to get to a point where it all collates into a cohesive product, it's something that's truly staggering. However, as an amazing achievement as it is, the Remarkable Paper Pro, there are some inherent limitations of the Gallery 3 technology that were simply impossible to be bypassed. So even though they've implemented a lot of intelligent solutions, I think that some of the compromises that the Gallery 3 technology in itself dictates will make it so that the Remarkable Paper Pro will not be for everyone. But I think that's fine. And I think that's great, actually, because it allows the Remarkable Paper Pro to be what it needs and wants to be, unapologetic and unashamed of it. I honestly can't wait to receive the review sample device so that I can dig in and start measuring and doing tests and bring you videos of it, because it truly is a breath of fresh air in, you know, a jungle of e-ink devices where everything is like, okay, type A, type B, type C, and then you get this, which is really, really exciting to see. Plus, it's executed in such a lovely way, which is something that we've come to expect from Remarkable, but it is quite exciting to see that, especially after 4 years, which is a long time to wait for something like that. But it seems to have been worth it. But the first impressions were, yeah, quite impressive. I feel very lucky and privileged and thankful for the opportunity that the Remarkable team has provided so that I could spend time with hands-on experience and hands-on time with the new device. But more importantly than that, for me it was a much bigger value and impression to actually spend time with the part of the team that has dedicated years of their lives into making this, which was obviously their baby, their dream, a really difficult challenge to bring it to reality and to bring it to actually to this point where they can come out and say, hello, this is what we've been working on, this is our vision, this is what we believe in, here you go. That is a very, very scary place to be, especially when you put yourself into a place of vulnerability where you offer raw originality on every aspect. Like every aspect of Remarkable Paper Pro is raw originality, and that takes guts, daring, a lot of finances, and it's a big, big risk. And I love risk takers because, yeah, if it works, it pays off really well. If it doesn't, it can be tricky. But I really, really hope that the Remarkable Paper Pro proves to be a risk that was well worth taking, mainly because if it does prove to be a success, which I honestly think that it should be, it finally opens the door for us to kind of move away from the stale dead-end Kaleido technology and maybe kind of look at this team that has innovated, problem solved, and used, I can't even imagine how many thousands of hours to problem solve how many hundreds of problems to actually get to the point where they have gotten with the Remarkable Paper Pro. So, obviously, I am under an impression here, right? So I think that this is a good opportunity to actually just, it's a good order of business here that I had the exposure to the theme, to the story behind the project, to the product itself, so that I can get the, you know, the giggliness, the excitement and all of that, because obviously there's a lot to be excited about here. But I'm kind of also thankful that this is the order of events, that I can get this out of the way and out of my system, so that when the product actually arrives, that I can try and fine-tune my, you know, objectivity dials and dial down the excitement and try to give a more measured response. I'm fully aware that this video is very giggly, and as I said, I am under an impression. This is the impression that I have gotten from my hands-on experience with the Remarkable Paper Pro. So that's what I'm giving to you. So that's why it's not a review or anything like that. This is basically hands-on impressions about the Remarkable Paper Pro. Please do let me know in the comments down below, what do you think about this exciting new development and launch? Is this something that appeals to you? What appeals to you? What doesn't appeal to you? What worries you? What would you like to have seen that you don't have here? What do you like that you can, that's already delivered here? And yeah, anything else that actually comes to mind, because I think that the discussion about this can be quite an interesting one to have, because this is a fresh, refreshing and an exciting product on, yeah, as I said, on a scene that has become a little bit stale. So this is a nice shake-up and it feels good. Alright, that's it from me. I hope that you enjoyed the video. If you did, please like and subscribe and ding the notification bell in the description below. If you like the work that I do and you want to support the independence of mydeepguide, then please do go to mydeepguide.com/shop, where you can find two products, the MDO, My Daily Organizer, or MMP, which is My Deep Guide Meeting Planner, both of which are hyperlinked PDF files that help you, in the case of MDO, organize all of your yearly, quarterly, monthly, weekly, daily, personal or professional needs, and in case of MMP, it helps you centralize, simplify, and organize all of your meeting planning needs. Purchase of any of these products directly helps support the independence of My Deep Guide, and I'm deeply thankful for your support. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy, and see you in the next video. Bye!